They say that if you gain the whole world and yet lose your soul, what did you really gain? Well, the answer is nothing. But here's a story of a man who lost his soul before he gained the entire world. My name is Alex Vega. This is my story. Indianapolis, Indiana. I don't remember the year. 8 years old. From what I understand, I had bad seizures. I always had bad seizures, and I would say it wasn't until I got to age 13 that we really started getting some serious diagnoses. And a lot of these diagnoses, they had a lot of implications on them that really were, it wasn't good for my family, it wasn't good for me. And so in short, my brain stopped developing properly, and I never truly grew. My speech was being hindered. The middle and high schools that I went to, they thought that my third language was English, even though it's my first. And so in short, everybody who worked on my brain, who had any kind of say on the matter, they said that by the age of 18, I would be brain dead. And that, long story short, I would have nothing and just no capability. Pre-healing, before everything changed, I was diagnosed with being schizoaffective. I believe that's when it was age 13 that everything kind of went from just having seizures at age 8 and just forgetting things to really a negative turn. I had psychopathic tendencies. I tried to murder my own sister 3 times. My mom had to hide the knives, I remember that. I had to go to a clinic and I had to talk with many different people, and I just remembered, like, I just want to kill everybody here, bro. And the worst part about it, I didn't even have hatred. Not real, genuine feelings of hatred. It just kind of came from just a desire to, I don't know, destroy. Walk with me this way. Beautiful view, by the way. At some point in my life, I can't quite remember when, maybe freshman year of high school, I met Tupac Shakur. Now, I know how that sounds. Not in person, for obvious reasons, but I will say, I met him through his music, and I am from the ghetto, and I resonated a lot from what he experienced. That's the same caliber, same degree, but he became a role model. And then later he became an idol. I had a lot of different idols, and I mean genuine idols. I don't even mean, oh, I like this guy, he's great, he really gets me. Defined my life. I would say I lost everything, including my soul, probably around then, because that's what I gave it to. Fast forward a few years later, I am failing school. And I'm losing everything. My family, my relationships with my sister, gone. My mother, probably the #1 person I hated on the planet. And it was crazy. I had 3 credits by the time I was in my junior year of high school. And I remember one day, I was 17 years old. Keep in mind, age 18, brain dead, out of there. My mom asked me, hey, do you want to go to church? Now, for reference, or for context, my mom's a felon. She got saved in prison, and God worked a miracle in her life, and she had attempted murder, 20 to life. And I don't have a Christian background. My family, we don't come from Christians. We come from criminals, people who hate God, who hate the people around them, insane people, at least on my mom's side. My dad's side's different. And she asked me to go to church one day. And I'll never forget it. The message was about idolatry. That's what I was dealing with. That's what I openly told people that I had idols. I worshipped Tupac. This is gonna be funny. Muhammad Ali. I did some boxing back then, give me a break. And then Superman, look, nothing like a good fake morality, right? And the message changed everything. When I heard the message of Jesus, the light of the world, it's as if there was light being brought into my world. And everything changed. It's as if, suppose a man lived underground for all his life. And so did his family before. And you had a man that says, hey, look, come and look at the outside world. There's light there. I think you're crazy. There's no idea what you're talking about. All we know is darkness. This is the world around us. We don't know any better. Suppose that same man came and he grabbed him and dragged him out and he saw the light. And yet I was that man. And walk this way. The next day I had an EEG appointment, or EKG, one or the other. Somebody will correct me there. And these scans take approximately a week and a half, a week to come through. And if you don't know, what they do is they scan your brain, they evaluate your brain, they have you stay up all night, you pull out an all-nighter, nothing like a good Call of Duty session for several hours. Early 2000s, those are the days. And I had to have like a bunch of wires and stuff in my head. Man, I'm telling you, there's nothing worse. There's no itch. Look, mosquito bites are itchy, but nothing is more itchy than them pasting these wires. Oh my gosh. And it's just there. And you can't fall asleep. See, that's probably the worst part. Anyway. 2 months later, my mom has my brother. Now I'm already 18. Obviously, I'm not brain dead. No one knows why. To be fair, they didn't say when. They didn't say right when you turn 18. They didn't say the day after. They just said 18. They, as in everybody who had a say in my life for the approximately age, let's say 13 to, 17 at this point, 18. And they said, we're just so sorry that it took so long. We don't understand why your son's brain is perfectly normal. Seizure free. I've been seizure free for 9 years. And it was after I came to Christ that God took me out of the darkness, this dark world that I lived in, and brought me into the light. That I was able to see. And it was just amazing. It wasn't easy going forward. I wish I could tell you that moving forward, everything was better. It was La La Land. We had candy. Oh, it was Candyland. Oh man, dude, it was crazy. We had our candy canes. We start flying. I got my wings. That's not what happened, bro. Post-healing, there was a lot of things I had to work on. First off, my relationship with my mom. God reconciled that. We went through counseling. I went through several people, healing in other areas of my life. Don't get me wrong, when my mom learned about my healing, it was a miracle. It was a miracle. It is a miracle. One that nobody can explain till this day. In a moment, everything changed. At least when it comes to my life being defined. I could say that you could turn this around and I gained my life back. But moving forward, I knew that gaining my life back would not be an easy thing. So post-healing, we had to put in that work. It was a journey, healing journey. You want to call it that? Healing journey, that was work. Someone like myself, when you had people saying for all your life that by the age of 18 that you would be brain dead, and then in a moment when you come to know who Jesus is, he heals everything. There's nothing more important than that. And that's exactly what happened to me. And so when my relationships that I wanted to build back up, when I knew that I had a responsibility, I had to go through that journey. And that was hard. But God reconciled everything. And I gained everything. What should profit a man if he gained the whole world and lost his soul? Well, I can tell you that I lost everything, but God gave it back. You know, there's a saying, and it's that if I plant something today, I'll have no problem if I died tomorrow. It's actually a quote. I think his name is George Murakami. I think that's his name. And I think that's interesting because I look at this world around me and I look at there's so much life. And so many people are just walking in darkness, wondering what's next, if they're even thinking about that. And they're not interested in planting, they just want to reap. And for me, I realize that if I want to reap anything, I have to first plant something. And so for you, my encouragement to you, first of all, put your faith and trust in Jesus. Look, I'm not going to act like that what happened to me will happen to you. But what I will say is that you will, He will bring light and life into your life where there's nothing but darkness. It's not going to be butterflies. It's not going to be Candyland. We're not going to be, no, none of that. It's going to be a journey like it was for me. You know, it took me, I'm where I am now over the approximately 9-10 years of wandering. And I'm still not where I want to be. But I have everything that I need. And then what I'll say after that is, just trust in Him. And plant. You know, it's beautiful, this garden, this place, but somebody planted it. And then he died one day. I'm sure that he died without any shame and with a lot of peace because he had a vision. And so for me, God worked a miracle in my life, and the life that I lived before died, and everything with it. And He brought it to life. He gave me birth. He bore me again, and created something beautiful. He planted something beautiful, so that it would turn into something great for His kingdom. And so for you who are watching, you who wonder, what can I plant? What do you have? I had broken relationships, and that turned into beauty. That turned into so much more. So what do you have? You have something. God's given you more things than you think. And that's my story. I'm supposed to be brain dead. That's the truth. I'm 26. And now, knowing what it's like to not being able to use my brain, I now push it to its maximum capacity. By the way, I never mentioned how I graduated high school with 3 credits. I didn't. So, in my junior year of high school, I took online classes, and somehow by a miracle, I went from having 3 credits to graduating with a core 40 the next year. Impossible. Well, only by your strength it is, but by His, anything is.